People always seem to find these collection videos oddly satisfying to watch. Maybe it's the time lapses or the sweeping shots of the shelf that does it, I don't really know. But what I do know is this shelf has been absolutely chockers for the longest time. There was so little space left on this thing from top to bottom, I even had to remove some DVDs into another room just to make way for any new games I picked up. So I jumped online and bought a new identical shelf from the same people I got the original from. And once I had time after Christmas, I spent a day assembling and reorganising the shelf space. It's really just a simple flat pack, so it's simple to build, and yet it's such a versatile piece of furniture. It comes with so many spare shelves that can be placed at any height you please, which is perfect for a game shelf, as games come in all different shapes and sizes. I wish there was a similar product in the form of a TV unit, just a big box with several shelves I can place wherever I want, but from my research, no such thing exists. Once it was built, I took all of the fan art off the wall and moved the original shelf over. I wanted to have the shelves side by side to create one big shelf, but the problem is that there is a power point on this wall that powers the TV and all of the consoles, which means I needed to access it. So I cut a small hole in the back of the new shelf and it fits perfectly. Now is the expansive task of reorganising. This took so much longer than I thought it would. Rather than start at the top or bottom and work my way to the other side, I started in the middle. I took a quick look to see what the camera sees when I'm filming and filled the space accordingly, starting with all the PS2 titles in a single strip, the PS1 games above and 360 games below, as they're my three most played systems. One of the reasons I was really excited about getting extra shelf space was to free up room above the computer desk and on this crappy old white shelf. I was able to move all my physical PC games onto the shelf, still within easy access from the computer, so now I can put something else up here. As for the white shelf, I wanted to remove my Crash Bandicoot shrine.
This is the end, my only friend, the end.
I was worried for the longest time about these figures, as the Tiny Tiger package is much deeper than Crash's. To my surprise, however, they do fit on the shelves perfectly. The only problem is that I was worried about them falling forward and hitting the floor, smashing into lots of Tiny Tiger pieces. So I handcrafted some pieces of wood from a larger piece of wood, painted them black and put them underneath the front of the figures. They sit very comfortably now and I don't have to have anxiety attacks over them getting damaged. The remote control Crash also fits well. The biggest problem organising this shelf starting in the middle is that everything else was an absolute nightmare to try and fit in. I tried so many different variants that it just got ridiculous. I ended up with some areas having less room than they had on one shelf, but as time goes on, some things can come off of the shelf and it can always be rearranged if necessary. In fact, even after reclaiming some DVDs from the other room, I still had 3 free slots next to the desk that I'll be keeping free for further expansion, as well as 2 spaces up top for something I'll get to shortly. In the space where I can access power, I didn't want any games displayed, but it looked bare, so I threw in some other gaming related items to help fill the space. I even got my old cheat books and demo discs out of a drawer and put them on display too. I rarely use them, but I like having them out to look at, and again, it helps fill the space until I get many more games. Now my big concern when I decided to set up the shelves this way is that fan art wouldn't be visible in the videos anymore, but I still wanted it up on the walls as it's always a good source of motivation. So I covered the door and adjacent wall with it, which both covers the blank space as well as displays fan art in an area that can normally be seen within videos from time to time. I also had a lot of new artwork to put up. Seriously, when I go to a printing store to print off heaps of pictures of myself, the people working there give me some really strange looks. I actually had a guy one time try to make fun of me. He obviously thought something looked bad and said in a really sarcastic tone, "Wow, did you do these yourself?" To which I replied, "No, my fans send me all this stuff." He shut his mouth pretty quickly. But anyway, overall the shelf looks absolutely fucking awesome, and I spent the rest of the night standing and looking at it with a big dopey grin on my head. Good effort for 3.5 years of collecting, I must say. Now on to something a lot of people asked me about when I first started doing these collection videos. What's the deal with the SNES and N64 boxes? In case you didn't know, buying boxed Nintendo games bumps the price up rather steeply, so most people just buy the cartridges. However, just putting them on the shelf makes them prone to dust and uncomfortable to see what games are there. So I found this template somewhere online. I have no idea where I found it, but I uploaded it to my DeviantArt that you can find in the description. So just know this isn't my template, I just put it up because I can't find the original creator. Now this template isn't to make boxes the original size, instead just big enough to fit the cartridge. I find the covers from thecoverproject.com, add them to the template and then go into printing stores to get them printed out onto nice card. Cut them out, put it together, and there you have a simple and cheap solution for keeping cartridges clean. Mine are pretty rough, but that's how I like it. They are old games after all, and it just makes the experience so much better being able to look at the back of the box for whatever reason I need. Now, the free space at the top of the shelf. I had to make sure I saved room for a recent purchase I made. I remember when this console was released in 2006, just how crazy it was. So many people went out and purchased a Nintendo Wii, but I didn't. So whenever I'd go over to a friend's house and they had one, I'd get so excited, but by then, people didn't care. It was less than a week before my cousins were over the gimmick, and yet all I wanted to do was play fucking golf in Wii Sports. Hell, my school even purchased one for use during spare time, and the one time I got to use it, the kid I was playing against just had to make his own fucking Mii, and when he was done, class was over. Get the fuck out. So here we are. It might be 10 years late, but goddamn, I've finally got a Wii. And I am just over the moon about it. I was never big on Nintendo consoles, but this white weapon of mass destruction has eluded me for too long. I missed a really good deal on one of these a few years back, and I regretted it ever since, until I saw this. I went and picked it up on New Year's Eve for a fair price. So, what does that mean for the channel? Expect some testing videos over the next few weeks, as well as more collection videos hopefully coming to the channel this year. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share. I'm Square Eye Jack, and have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.